And just this idea, I've never not been compelled by the idea of people within an organization making it better. And it's a simple idea, and I think it just applies to everything in life. And so in this
Mm.
way, I'm still focused on how can we improve schools. Just all the different ways of building capacity for teachers. And that
Mm.
this has been interesting too, as I've been looking across the ecosystem and kind of researching the different education services and ed tech companies out there, because all of them are leaning into capacity. If
Mm-hmm.
it's like Possip, you're leaning into capacity through relationships, communication.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other organizations that are leaning into capacity through efficiency. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we take things off of teachers' plates and give them
Mm-hmm.
back time. There's building capacity through coaching.
Mm-hmm.
There's building capacity through belonging, being a part of networks and professional groups. So there's all these different ways that I see that people are trying to solve that problem. And I think it, for me, becomes a very human problem. Like, yes, we need the practical solutions, we need the tech solutions. Those are important, but we also need to start just thinking about like what does it take for a teacher to sustain this career? I
For better or for worse, we all just have we're in this kind of like loop cycle. I don't know if you've read, there's a book about like basically how do social media companies build a habit of addiction. And
Yeah.
it's all about like the reward. And so I think some of what parents want, and I can speak for myself in communication, is that constant reward of like I'm getting information and I can do something with that information. Why, how
Mhm.
did you learn to do that? What didn't you learn? What's hard?
Well, I think in terms of proactive communication, I learned a lot at being a business leader and being in customer experience, being in business development, what have you, working in a customer facing role. You do learn like people need information.
Mm,
You also, as a teacher, just learn about a lot of different kinds of people and people's neurodiversities and the ways that they tick. And in general, you start to discover like, oh, there is like a real need for information.
mhm.
And in today's world, there's also just a lot of soothing the information
Mhm.
can provide,
Mhm.
because a lot of families feel anxious and just a lot of humans feel anxious.
Yeah. It's not necessarily fair because I think probably our desire for communication as
Hmm.
parents probably increased over the years, over the decades. That
Hmm.
probably what our parents expected,
Hmm.
and we're from not the same generation either, but I think it's probably different. And so it's both the demands on schools and districts have increased, the expectation for communication has increased, and then the trust in institutions has decreased. And so it
Hmm.
does create, and then just teaching is still hard. Like, so
Hmm.
then, so that where does where does that expectation for communication even fall? Is it on a teacher? Is it on a school? Is it on a district? Is it everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really complex.